Hi, I'm Wadden, and in this video I'm going to provide you with a 5-point checklist to building a balanced and well-architected finish. Building a finish is just like building a bridge. There's a lot of structure to observe, and I'm going to provide you with 5 key alignment fundamentals to develop and build that structure. Towards the end of the video, we're going to look at the finishes of a few touring professionals, some of the great ball strikers, as well as some other touring pros who don't have as good of finishes, and I hope you see the contrast in the two. The first key alignment feature we're going to discuss has to do with the upper arms. The first thing that I want to point out is that the left upper arm, when you're moving through into the finish, maintains its relationship with the shoulder line that it had at address, which is going to be roughly 90 degrees. But this, as we're turning into the finish, this upper left arm maintains its relationship. It does not scoot out ahead of the shoulder line and get onto the shoulder line. It maintains its relationship. And as it does that, the upper right arm is going to be working with it so that the two upper arms finish roughly parallel to one another at the top of the swing. The second alignment feature has to do with the level or height that the left elbow achieves at the end of the swing. So as I'm swinging through, maintaining my two upper arms in a parallel fashion, notice the height that the left elbow achieves. It ends up at least as high as the height of the left shoulder, and depending on the club you're hitting and the shot you're hitting, a little bit higher to at least as high. The third alignment feature has to do with the relationship of the shaft of the club to portions of my upper body. And I'm going to show you as I swing into the finish. I want you to see how the shaft fits very neatly into a plane formed by the left forearm and the left upper arm. The shaft does not get over here, doesn't get over there. It comes up and fits right into that plane. That way the weight of the shaft is supported right underneath the left bicep and into the structure of this plane. The second thing you're going to notice about the shaft is that this portion of the shaft that's just beyond the rubber grip is going to come up and almost hit the colic of my head. It can finish a little bit behind, but it's going to come up very close to the colic of my head. And finally, you're going to see the shaft form a rectangle with the left forearm and left upper arm, and this rectangle should have a slight kind of 20-degree downward tilt to it. The fourth alignment feature has to do with the right wrist. When I'm swinging through impact, my right wrist releases out and the back of the right wrist ends up flat. And as we get up higher into our finish, in order to get the shaft to finish and settle into the plane of the left forearm and upper arm, we've got to do what I call a rehinging of the right wrist. You'll see all the great ball strikers do this, and you see this right wrist hinge, and that helps the left. As the right wrist hinges, the left wrist gets more on the forearm here, and it's a lot easier to support the weight of the shaft again into the plane of the left forearm and left upper arm. Our final alignment checkpoint involves the balancing of the right foot at the finish, and you're looking at the swing of Charles Schwartzel, who in my opinion has the best and most technically efficient swing on the PGA Tour. I'm going to show you him coming down into impact and all the way through into the finish. Focus on what the right foot does, and what you're going to see as his shaft comes down and covers that Nike swoosh in the back of his hat. What you're going to see is that the right foot comes up to 90 degrees and stops. In fact, it stops just a hair inside of 90 degrees. And what it does not do, it does not flop over. It comes up to 90 degrees and balances. The other thing you're going to notice in good finishes is that the left shoulder blade will come back in and back around and compress into the right foot. So you'll see this shoulder blade trying to come back around and press itself into the right foot. I'm going to show you the swing of Zach Johnson, who is a example of how not to do this. You can see his right foot has flopped, and right foot flops are always associated with upper left arms where the left elbow gets low and behind, and this pulling downward of the upper left arm requires a right foot flop to balance. I want to return to the swing of Charles Schwartzel and demonstrate to you how all 5 of the key alignment features that I discuss in a perfect finish are also present in his finish. And the first is the relationship of the upper left arm being maintained vis-a-vis the shoulder line in the backswing. And you know, this angle I'm drawing is not going to be perfect, but I want you to imagine that the upper left arm has not changed its relationship vis-a-vis the shoulder line by more than 10 to 15 degrees as he's rotated into the finish. His upper right arm is roughly parallel to his upper left arm, and there's good symmetry here in his 2 upper arms vis-a-vis his shoulder line. Okay. The next fundamental, number 2, is not letting the left elbow drop vis-a-vis the left shoulder, so his left elbow is a few inches above his left shoulder. Third alignment fundamental has to do with the shaft and how that balances into the plane formed by the left arm and the left upper arm. So here's the left forearm, left upper arm, so that shaft is balancing into this plane. The fourth fundamental has to do with the rehinging of the right wrist. And if you take a look at the back of his right wrist, you can see how it's quite hinged there. And finally, we have the right foot and how that has come up to almost a 90-degree position, and of course no more than 90 degrees, followed by the compression of the left shoulder blade into the top portion of the right heel. I might add that the part of the shaft just beyond the grip will come and kind of hit the colic of the head here, and in this case, he's just perfectly covered the Nike swoosh on the back of his hat. And all of these alignment features come together to basically build a bridge
for this shaft to come up and be well supported at the top of the swing, and for the body to be in perfect alignment and perfect balance. Now, let's look at a few other pros. Here's Mickey Wright, and you can see her two upper arms parallel. She's got a nice rectangle formed with the shaft balancing into the left forearm and left upper arm. Her right foot has come up, is perfectly vertical. Phil Mickelson, two upper arms parallel, his right elbow above his right shoulder, a nice angle, nice rectangle here formed by the shaft, his left forearm, his upper arm. Notice his right foot, not only is it not flopped over, it is unflopped, and his right shoulder is compressing back into the top of his left heel there. Luke Donald, definitely known for his finish on tour. I want you to watch as I swivel him around. Watch the two upper arms stay completely connected to his shoulder line as he works into the finish. He's got his rectangle here, two upper arms, roughly parallel, right foot, perfectly vertical. Here's the swing of finish of Ben Crenshaw. See the same two upper arms, parallel. Okay, I love his finish, by the way. He's got a nice kind of downward bending rectangle here, perfect right foot, and you see the left shoulder blade compressing back into the top of the right heel. Jack Nicklaus, two upper arms are parallel. Whoops. Okay, Nicklaus had a tremendous finish. He's got his rectangle here. Okay, so that shaft is balancing right into the plane of his left forearm and upper arm, and no right foot flop here. Wonderful. Now, back to our bad examples. We got to show you the contra example here. Here's Zach Johnson again. There's a right foot flop. There is a complete undoing here of the rectangle. This left elbow has gotten well below his left shoulder, and a rectangle is completely destroyed. His hands, he's going to come right out. You can't hold this position and stay balanced. So you see people with bad finishes, they just come out of them right away. They can't stay in their finish. And here's another example of a bad finish. Davis Love, someone who really has not realized his full potential ever on the PGA Tour. Certainly won a lot of tournaments, but he should have won more. The left elbow below the left shoulder, associated with the right foot flop, and he looks just like Zach Johnson. And whoops, I guess I don't have a we don't have him finishing much beyond that in the swing, but had we've been able to follow the rest of the swing, he would have come out of that. You just can't hold it. So there you have it. How to form a well-balanced and well-architected finish, and some examples for you as to how to do it right and how to do it wrong. If you haven't yet seen my video on why the finish matters, please click on that, watch it, and this video will make a lot more sense to you.